in the presence of the devil. What must parents do when there is a problem between the two of them, such that they will not paint a bad picture to their children, so that the quest to bring godliness into their home will be accomplished?
Parents, as much as possible, should try not to let some of they will come, but we should try as much as possible not to let it look real. Because sometimes there will be, by all means, there will be some disagreements between the two of you. But when you come out to face the children, you should let it look like there's nothing wrong. Well, you should try to resolve. I always say you should try to resolve the problem. Resolve it immediately. For the sake of the children, because we are living examples for them. So if they are going to emulate us and we are doing this, so I sometimes I tell my kids, have you ever seen Dad and I fighting before? You see kids, they fight, they argue, they do a whole lot of. I said, do you see us doing that? We are not perfect human beings, but we try as much as for the sake of you people. So we try as much as possible not to let those things come out. At all. If we have anything, it's something small, then within a small time it's over. So we should, it's a matter of trying, sacrificing, pinning it down like it's not there.
Okay. There is something you have said which a lot of people say that I would want us to deal with before we move on.
Okay.
Because if the relationship between the mother and the father or the parents is not correct, it will be very difficult for them to come together to provide leadership for godliness in a Christian home. And I've heard a lot of people who would say that, let's do this for the sake of the children. Let's do this for the sake of children. And I ask myself, what about the covenant you made when you got married? What about the covenant you made in the presence of God and of the congregation? Why does it now come to the children and not God? Because Joseph said, listen, I will not do this thing to sin against my God. And so the God factor was preeminent in dictating whatever he was doing in his life. Shouldn't that be the case?
Exactly. But human beings as we are, sometimes we also want to God, yes, first, God. Because
praise you for anything. What people have done less that he has praised them, do that 10 times, he will castigate you. And he sees himself as the one who is always right. You are wrong. When you have such people, in fact, when the person, the wife is, after the dowry is paid, right from the beginning, he leaves part of the items with the mother, knowing very well that you come back one day.
Hey.
Oh, we have such people there. After everything is performed, when the lady is supposed to join the husband, she goes with the mentality that perhaps one day I'll come back, so let me reserve some of my things here. They have told themselves right from the beginning that human beings are not reliable, they are unpredictable, anything at all can happen. As for marriage, it's a relationship. When you are in, it is yours. As soon as you get out, you forget about it. And you have all these kinds of. So when parents are in the house and they are not vitalist couple, where everything seems to be in order, and they are, or perhaps harmonious couple where they are able to manage their things. But the third one, the traditional couple, where they fight a little, sometimes they even tell the other person, no, you can't live together.
Reality through harmonious is education. But I want you to clarify, does it mean that if someone is not formally educated, they cannot have a vital marital relationship or a harmonious marital relationship? Or you are talking about general education?
Oh, general. But when the person is, I did my studies in marriage. In fact, my thesis statement title was marital commitment.
Okay.
Marital commitment. And what we find out was that if a woman is well educated and she is ready to, she's ready to love you, she'll go all out with all that she has to support you, even if you are not working.
Okay.
You, the man, will enjoy everything, including the human being.
Okay.
But if she decides to back out because she is gainfully employed, she will tell herself that, oh, after all, what again?
I can
live without you and take care of my children.
Mm-hmm.
So you must always pray that if your wife is well educated, she will love you. Otherwise, nothing can compel her to stay with you.
This one is in your domain, Mr. and Mrs. Ewabafo. I wanted to ask whether your marriage is on a vital level, harmonious level, traditional level, conflicting level, or so. But the last one is which one?
That's why devitalized.
Or the viewers, this is getting serious. This devitalized. Please, as you listen, be evaluating your marriage. Is your marriage a vital relationship? Is your marital relationship a vital one? Is it a harmonious one? Yes, you have conflicts, but you know how to bring your differences together and to harmonize your differences in order for you to forge forward. Is it a traditional one where you are married because of an uncle or an auntie, or you are staying in it because you don't want the church to know that your marriage is bad, or you don't want your friends and family members to think that you have divorced because you want to maintain a certain public reputation? And so even though things are bad in your home, you paint a good picture of yourself in public. So you have a double lifestyle. Is yours a traditional marriage? Everybody knows that these couple are together. In a particular church, that I nearly mentioned the name of the church, of the society, there were these couple who would come together and they would dance. During time of praise, you will see them dancing together. They sit together. Apparently, once they set off from the church, they don't talk to each other.
I counseled
I was shocked.
Somebody somewhere, a couple somewhere. The only time they come together is when their friends have invited them to a program. When they are invited, they write Mr. and Mrs. Then one will go to the other person's house. Call it, let's go. As soon as they end the program, that is it.
So they don't even stay together.
They don't even stay together.
Amazing. So, Mr. and Mrs. Wabafo, there is a lot of faking in marriages, which sometimes affects the children because they see through the veil that, listen, these people, they are not loving, they are not together, there is nothing harmonious about their lives. So how do you manage your relationship so that the vitality of it will be perceived by the children so they can learn from your example? Share your experience with us.
You should be real. You should know fakeness. And I see the society with a lot of hypocrisy. We always pretend as if all is going on well, but in reality it is not. Let the children understand it. Let them know when it's true love. Don't teach them the fake one. How do we do it? By demonstrating to ourselves based on biblical principles that God loved the world, that he gave his only son. So we should love one another in our deeds, in everything that we do as a family, and not pretend. So we should, as much as possible, live by example, by portraying that kind of truthfulness and the reality, the real thing. If it's this, is that, not fake and a lot of hypocrisy all over the place. We should be real.
Please, all you add to that one.
I think what I've seen is that I've also seen a lot of marriages. Let's say a friend of mine in the office, the couple were so nice. I used to visit them. Then all of a sudden, they decided to break up, and it was very surprising to me because I knew that they were so close. So these are some of the faking. I mean, they come out and they pretend as if everything is well, but in reality, things are not going on well. I think we must be careful in because eventually, if there's a problem, it will come out. So we need to keep it a secret life, where a dual life, where on one side we seem to be very good together. On the other side, when we are at home, then it's a different thing. You must let us know what is going on in the marriage.
Okay. I think we'll have to get a full session on marriage because the way this discussion is going, it's getting serious because Super said there are some people who have painted a certain image to the public, such that even when there are problems and they know that, oh, when I go to Reverend, the wife says that, oh, I'm going to go and share this thing with Reverend, see if he can help us. The man says no. Or the man comes away to say that, oh, I want to go and tell the Reverend Minister, so he will help us. They say no. Because of the sort of image they have painted, they think that getting to somebody to let the person know the challenges they are having and for the person to help them to resolve it, they are going to wash their dirty linen in public. And so they will rather cover up their issues than to deal with it. And they don't come forward. And so eventually, like you have said, the marriage collapses and things go bad. So, but what would be your advice to couples who are going through challenges and are covering up their issues? They don't want even their pastors or genuine counselors who have oath of secrecy, who will not go and tell others. Like you and I, we have oath of secrecy, so we don't share other people's with others. What do you tell those people in this bracket? What do you tell them?
Sometimes I would say that society, per our proverbs, our maxims, and our statements have brought about all these things. And sometimes too, as we counsel the couple when they are going to get married, the kind of things we tell them, don't let anything go out. Try and then keep. We think that by keeping everything makes you strong. It is not true. It is good to share your secret. It is said that problems, shared is half solved. So let people who are competent come in and support you. The more you keep it to yourself, the more you kill yourself. You may get depressed, you may get stressed, and that can lead to lifestyle diseases, diabetes, blood pressure, ulcers, and other things. Sometimes people suffer some of these sicknesses and they cannot trace what perhaps could have led to that. But then when you ask them and then you probe further, you will know that it is because of either stress, depression, anxiety, releasing some uncomfortable chemicals into their system, fight or flee. Anytime you have a problem, naturally God gives you either the adrenaline to fight, or if you cannot fight the person, then you have to run away. You quit. But then when you sense that signal and you release that chemical into your system and you don't use it, it settles in the bloodstream.
Okay.
And the more they come into your system, the more dangerous they become and they cause a lot of sickness. So we must allow people to share their responsibility. It is good for people to hear than to keep it and die.
Okay. So I believe that people must have accountability, friends. Beloved in the Lord, what we are learning is that if your marriage is not on a vital level, if your marriage is not harmonious, it will be nearly impossible for you to promote godliness in your home. There cannot be godliness being promoted in your home if your marriage is on a traditional dimension, if it is on a conflicting dimension, or if it is on a devitalized dimension. There is no way you can set a good godly example for your children. I want to take your closing thoughts on the issue we have discussed, the role of parents in promoting godliness in the home. So let me begin with you, Mr. Ewabafo.
I think one other thing maybe we didn't stress on is discipline in the home. I think that discipline is very important. Like the discipline of maybe having a quiet time, the discipline of reading your Bible, the discipline of praying. All those things we must ensure that it's done at the time it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
Not at will, when you feel like doing, but when it becomes part of you through your life, and that's where you can ensure that godliness exists in the family. Discipline is vital.
Okay. So even with your closing thoughts, Mrs. Wabafo, I want you to touch on disciplining with love, so that when you discipline, your intention is not to inflict pain but to correct. How do you go about this as a parent?
I think Proverbs says a lot about it. you discipline gently with the rod. I believe, and then it says, fully is in the heart of the child. It's the rod that releases it out. To me, the rod is not the cane that you are going to use. The rod is the word of God backed with love that you are going to use to discipline.
Okay, that's another dimension of it.
Yeah, that's how I perceive it.
Okay.
Before the rod, the other side comes.
Okay.
In a Christian home, I think there should be rules, there should be regulations. When you want to discipline a child, you should set out certain rules. You don't just leave them to do what they want. So if I want discipline to be really instilled, then I should put in certain rules, certain regulations. Then we abide by them. And then if you flout any of them, we do it with love. The love that we are going to do is we have to explain to you why you are being disciplined in this area. We have to agree. You have flouted this, and this is the consequence. You should accept it. When you discuss with a child in such a way, it makes the discipline aspect become very in a gentle way, rather than enforcing it on them, pushing it through their throat. They should understand why they are being disciplined. Because a disciplined person will make you fit into every society you fit. And it runs through all. So I see that we should go with the biblical principles and then discipline the children as a man.
Okay. Super. There are closing thoughts though, but you are a certified counselor and you've had a lot of experiences with people. I know that on the issue of counseling, of taking or resolving issues, at what point should parents who are having challenges take the issue to a third party? At what point is it appropriate for them to just do well as mature couple to resolve those issues? At what point should that be done?
We have our individual abilities, and anytime you feel that what is at stake is beyond your capability, refer. Okay. Because you have come to the end of your wit, and anything that you'll be doing would rather be aggravating the situation. So refer. So it is upon the conception that no, this thing is beyond my But then you must also, as we are discussing now, parents, you must also learn to know what it takes to be a good parent. So when you have learned all those skills and you have applied them and it is not working, then you have to refer. It is like sickness.
So who should they go to? Who is appropriate within a particular marital context? Who will be the appropriate person for maybe the couple to refer their issues to, if it is necessary to do that? And should one party do that with the consent of the other, or one party can just go out of the way and then report an issue?
If the two of them will agree to come to you, then it means the problem is almost solved.
Okay.
If the two of them will decide to come to you for counseling, that means they have started, on a very positive note. But sometimes, in many cases, it is just one person who take the lead. When I came here, a friend, may her soul rest in peace, she was teaching at Ashesi University, and I completed my master's with her MPhil program. So she went there, she was teaching, and she had an issue, and she called me and said, "Osofo, I've had an issue, a counseling session, and I think that this thing, you have to handle it for me." So she referred the person from Accra. The lady came to the mission house. When she came, she sat down, she started, complaining, just castigating the husband for so many reasons. I just sat down there, I was just listening to her. Then after some time, I said, "Madam, if I am your husband, perhaps I will behave the same way that he's doing because of what you have told me. If indeed you did what you have done." There's a theory called rational emotive behavior therapy.
Come again. Rational emotive behavior therapy. This is psychology.
Tell the person as it is.
Yeah.
That is Albert Ellis.
Yeah.
He doesn't pamper people. He will just tell you.
Yeah.
Straight away. So at that time, I remember that I said, "Madam, you know what? these things that you have done, if I am your husband, perhaps I may behave the same way because of A, B, C. Then she sat up. I said, is that so? She said. So after going through with her for some time, I just left her to just, begin to think. And then after 5 minutes, I came back to her and said, so now I want you to make your own personal resolutions. Mm-hmm. Now that you have realized that you are the major contributor to the conflict that is, going on in your house, you have to. So she made 5 resolutions and she left. After 2 weeks, I called her. Sister, how are you? She started laughing, and you know what she told me? Also, my husband says that if he has money, whatever that you ask on this earth, he will provide for you because of what has happened to me. Okay. Because he was not expecting that sudden change will take place. It is said that if you change, everything around you will change. The problem that you have in this world that those who are causing the trouble sometimes see themselves as saints. And they want others to change. Meanwhile, they are the troubleshooters. Mm-hmm. So we need to let people know that these things are good, these things are not good. If you can handle them, fine. If you can't, it is good to refer them. You were asking who to refer to. Mm-hmm. You must look for a competent person. Okay. Not everybody somebody will even say, come and let me counsel you. You go there, the person counsels you, and that is the end. He don't even counsel you, he will counsel you.
Okay. Beloved, we are learning a lot of things here. Once you change, everything around you will change. It is the rational emotive behavior therapy. You say it as it is, and you must say it with love. I want to thank the panelists for your time and for the wisdom that you have shared with us. Beloved, this is Make It Plain, and on Make It Plain, we make the message clear and plain. I am Reverend Norte, your host, and those who have been with me on this show have been the very Reverend Ebenezer Popsina J, the Superintendent Minister of Tema West Circuit of the Tema Diocese of Methodist Church Ghana. He's also the Synod Secretary of the Tema Diocese. And then we have this wonderful couple here, whose time we have taken, Mr. and Mrs. Iwabafo. God richly bless you. Thank you for coming. Please watch out for us. Next week we'll be coming your way with another topic. We'll be delving into different areas. So be watching out for us, and keep praying. Ensure that you are doing the right things as parents, and then as children, ensure that you are also learning from your parents, or you are behaving as a godly child. It is important for us to make our homes a godly place, a place where Jesus will feel comfortable living. May the peace of the Lord be with you, and the grace of God be multiplied unto you. Shalom.